Hey, this is Matt once again. What about 10 videos? There's another paid request this time for Jonathan. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film Kicking and Screaming from 2005, starring Will Ferrell. You also got Robert Duvall and Mike Ditka. The Bears. The Bears. Which honestly, he was the best part of this movie. And this movie, at this end of the day, it was average. I've said before, I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan. There are some films I don't mind him in. I liked The Other Guys. I liked Talladega Nights. Yes, I even liked Land of the Lost. I'm not familiar with the source material. But I'm not a fan of Elf. Some of his other films, like, Anchorman, I wasn't big on. This was average because there's a lot of times where Will Ferrell is more subdued in this movie, which I appreciate. You only get more of the hyper Will Ferrell kind of the second half of the movie. But there's a lot of moments where he's just being sort of the calm, collected dad, and I kind of wish we could have seen more of that. But the setup is Will Ferrell, his dad's played by Robert Duvall, good, solid actor. But Will Ferrell's bad at sports, and his dad's very competitive. You even get a bit of the Chariots of Fire music. But yet Will Ferrell's doing so bad at sports. And kind of typical jokes. Like he's trying to the jump, but he keeps falling, he keeps missing, keeps screwing it up. He does a long jump, but he only gets like 3 inches. So later on, he gets married, has a kid, but then his dad has a kid as well. And in fact, they're born on the same day. So on the same day, he gets a kid, but he also gets a new brother, baby brother. So as many years later, the kids are grown up. I think Robert Duvall, the new kid he had, is Josh Hutcherson, who's just in the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And then Will Ferrell, he's being nice to his kid, and he owns this kind of medicine, pill store. His dad doesn't really understand his son. Duvall, puts down Will Ferrell and how he's not good at sports, but is very, very supportive of Josh Hutcherson because he's doing well at sports. And the sport in question here is soccer. A very competitive guy. He's got a sporting store. He even does commercials, which ends with, he's got balls. Like, that's the kind of humor you have here. He's got balls. Because it's a sporting store, Will Ferrell's son is on Robert Duvall's team, but Duvall's going to trade him to this team called the Tigers. And Will's like, you're trading your own grandson? But Duvall wants to win at all costs. So he tries to tell his son. He tells a bit of suppressed rage. He's even pointing he's hyperventilating. And his son has to tell the mom, hey, dad's hyperventilating. Brings his son to the game. The coach quits because the team is a bunch of losers. Will Ferrell joins as the coach. Otherwise, he'd forfeit. And he doesn't know what to do, but he's it's a little bit of bad news bear, like a lot of movies you see back in the day. Bad News Bears, Little Giants, those type of movies. We have these kids that are the loser team and have no self-esteem. They each have their quirks. You have the smallest one, who has two very overprotective parents who are lesbian parents. You have the one kid who dares to eat a worm for money. To be honest, the kids didn't really. They weren't bad, but they didn't really pop. As in, I can't really say they were memorable. Like, they were there, but to take or leave them. Like, okay, soccer is a game I don't really follow. I don't really have a lot of interest. Basketball is the sport I'm really interested in. Bit of football. But soccer was never for me. I know there was a soccer with back what the day was it, the Big Green? I think Steve Gutenberg was in it, and the kid from the Sandlot. I think. I haven't seen that film in a few decades. The one refreshing thing about the movie is Mike Ditka. This is Mike Ditka. It's the guy who was the coach of the Bears. You know, who brought the Bears to the Super Bowl back in the day in the 80s and was on the SNL with Chris Farley. You know, Dub Bears, Dub Bears. It's Mike Ditka. And he just had a personality to him with the Chicago accent and you think whole world go stop? You got a fan meeting? And you know, he joins Will Ferrell because he hates Will Ferrell's dad. He hates Robert Duvall. And anytime Mike Ditka pops up, where he's like yelling at Robert Duvall and Duvall's yelling back at him, or he's trying to get Will Ferrell to shape up and try to tell him how to coach, and or when they're losing and he's throwing stuff on the ground. That's like the only time I got a smile on my face. Because the rest of it is kind of your typical kid sports comedy thing. They're losing. We think we're losers. In this one, they find 2 Italian kids for the team. And pretty much the rest of the season is just get the ball to the Italians. And they do very well. And they start winning games. Will Ferrell's introduced to coffee. As he drinks more coffee, he gets more hyper. And then he starts behaving like his dad. Or he's being more of a dick. And that's where we did more of the Will Ferrell craziness in the performance. More obsessed. Like there's a bit where the dad of the 2 Italians, they can't come. They're working the meat stuff. I have a meat shop. So Will Ferrell and them goes in the back of the truck, going towards the game. They're cutting up all the meat. So they all come out bloody, and the guy on the other team goes, yeah, we're good. Hey, we quit, you know. Sorry, you know, something happened. And ultimately they get to the championship. The wife tells Will Ferrell, look at your son, he's a bench warmer, just like he was on your dad's team. Will Ferrell feels bad. And you know, this one, I mean, there are moments where he's just able to calm it down, have it subdued, has a nice little chat with his son, not playing it up to Will Ferrell insanity, and he's not bad. I liked him. I liked seeing him subdued like this. I liked seeing those quiet moments. I would have preferred a whole movie like that. It would have been more refreshing. But people want the Will Ferrell crazy antics. Although I don't think this film did that well at the box office. But for what I read somewhere that this was the movie he's the most proud of because I think his son was born around the time. And it's like, man, this could be the movie I could watch with my son. So, hey, I can understand that. And like I say, it plays like you think it does. Spoilers, but Will Ferrell learns the error of his ways. He lets the team play. The team has learned a bit from the Italians. They get their moments to shine. Whether it be Will Ferrell's son, even the kid who eats a worm to distract someone, the goalie, he needed glasses, so now he can catch a ball. They win the game. The father has a little bit more respect for the son. By the end, they combine their stores. things work out for the end. And really the only big praise I could say is Mike Ditka. That's the thing, it doesn't really do anything that unique or original with this type of story. It's a Will Ferrell kids sports comedy where he's a subdued dad and then he becomes a competitive dad like his own dad. And if you're a big Will Ferrell fan, I'm sure you'd get fun out of this. To me, I'm kind of a in between thoughts on Will Ferrell. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was alright to watch one time. I would never watch it again. It plays its familiar tropes, its predictability. And like I said, Mike Ditka was like the best part of the movie to me. So, take that for what you will. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.